Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast. Cameron Jones here, as always, with my co-host,
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
We're keeping in the summer thriller thing, so going off Knives Out, we're gonna give you another thriller here. This one's a bit of a summer blockbuster from a few years back. What movie are we doing, everybody?
We are doing the 2007 film Disturbia.
After the death of his father, troubled teen Cale assaults his teacher and is placed on house arrest. With nothing better to do than spy on his neighbors, he discovers that one of his neighbors might be a cold-blooded killer.
From the guys who brought you Eagle Eye, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage.
Nice.
And Two for the Money, director DJ Caruso.
So this movie is pretty much a modern Rear Window with Shia LaBeouf.
It's Rear Window.
Leading off of holes right before Transformers.
Relatability for us in the past year and a half, just pandemic, not able to leave our house arrest.
The quieter the street, the darker the secret.
That's not true.
That's not always true.
No.
Starring Shia LaBeouf,
Shia LaBeouf.
Sara Roemer, Carrie-Anne Moss, David Morse, Aaron Yu, Viola Davis, Jose Pablo Cantillo.
Every killer lives next to someone. Disturbia.
Alrighty, cast and crew. This movie was directed by DJ Caruso.
DJ Caruso.
Right. He also did another Shia movie, Eagle Eye.
You know, I wasn't a huge fan of it at the time, but I think it's a pretty okay movie.
It's like...
I don't mind it. I like it.
It's like Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
It's just Jason Bourne with those guys.
It's Public Enemy, kind of, with...
No.
With not Public Enemy.
Public Enemy's
Sorry.
Johnny
I'm
Depp.
sorry.
But nothing's like that.
Sorry,
That's
it's like Enemy of the State with Will Smith, where he's just kind of on the run the whole time
Sure.
from the government.
Except Enemy of the State so much
DJ
better.
Caruso also did one of the Triple X movies.
If it's
It
not,
sounds like not the first one.
Yeah.
Not the first one.
If it's not the first one, it sounds like
Either the second or third one, whatever came out in 2009, I think. He also did Two for the Money. I've never seen that movie, but I feel like I'd like it. It's about sports gambling. It's got Matthew McConaughey and I think Scarface.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Weird.
I think I'd like that movie.
Given the time period, though, it sounds like it could go either way, being like pretty good or just awful.
Music by Jeff Zanelli. He also did Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. I mean, this doesn't really strike any chord with me as far as being too memorable. I mean, it's just...
I don't know the score. I would say there's more of a soundtrack movie.
Yeah, that plus just... Well, it's a teen movie, so there is just music in the background. Horror suspense. It's just going to be building violence.
Yeah, this movie does lean on a lot of that sort of suspense sort of sounds to kind of create the vibe.
Tones.
Yeah, so it's not going to be as much a memorable melody, but cool. I mean, he's a big time...
This has to be at least mentioned once. Executive produced by Steven Spielberg.
He did have a few notes that made it into the movie.
Also, it seems like we'll get into he tapped for whatever reason. Steven Spielberg tapped Shia LaBeouf is like, I like it. We're doing it.
True. I mean, he does that with people from time to time.
Yeah, for
sure.
The
guy from Ready Player One. It seems like he's trying to do that with him, baby, but not.
But not anymore.
Well, because he hasn't done anything since, really.
Earliest tap was Richard Dreyfuss. Everybody's like, I don't see it. He's like, give it 3 movies or 2.
On to the meat of the cast. We've got Shia LaBeouf. Just a little precursor.
We know it's problematic right now, and we've already talked about... we have to kind of talk about this in almost every movie now, but there are problematic actors, directors, in some of the art that we're watching and critiquing. We have to... Obviously, he's kind of in a bad spot right now. He's kind of been canceled, but...
I don't know. We only do canceled actors. We're going to do a whole bunch of Johnny Depp movies coming up.
But, we're just kind of looking at the entire picture, and it's not just a Shia LaBeouf vehicle. It's the movie Disturbia, so...
Yeah, it's a DJ Khaled movie, right? What's his name?
So Shia, he plays Cale, the main character. He's an Even Stevens in my heart. Even Stevens guy. I'm an Even Stevens guy.
Huge Even Stevens fan at the time.
That surprises the shit out of me.
But it was right in my time in Wheelhouse, so I should have been.
Actually, growing up, because I guess I'm about Shia LaBeouf's age, but older than you guys, as far as TV goes, I was past Even Stevens. Yeah. So I held that against him for years. I'm like, I'm not going to make the Even Steven guy a movie star. And then Steven Spielberg's like, I'm sure going to try.
No talent ass clown.
Oh, yeah. I used to call him a no talent ass clown. Until about, again, we know he's problematic, But recently, it was all the performance art stuff. I'm like, I like this weirdo. But now I'm like, I don't know anymore.
I mean, honestly,
I don't want to make too many public announcements.
sort of around that same even Stevens times, we have Holes.
Holes was a breakout for your guys' age group, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loved that movie.
Well, because everyone already loved
the
book, and they're like, we're doing it.
Plus, they took Even Stevens. They took a Disney guy that was already a big person, and they launched him into a big book. So yeah.
Ooh, here's sort of another turning point, I'll say, for his career was the greatest game ever played, golf movie.
Oh yeah.
I love a golf movie. I've seen almost all 5 of them. Like I just have.
Also,
Fury.
Fury. I was about to say it's a really good war movie from a few years back. He was kind of going through stuff. That's when he pulled out his tooth and like got religious for a second.
I actually think Fury was like his first comeback to be able to like he can still act.
Yeah, true.
And now he's 30.
The Peanut Butter Falcon. That was a good one too.
I don't remember that
I haven't
at all.
seen that one at all.
And again, like he's obviously clearly going through some stuff too. So I mean, as much as he is problematic, we also kind of hope he can get some help and I don't know,
so
turn things
I guess
around.
maybe this is bad, but like one of the things that in recent years I'm like he's going through it. Everybody realized he was going through it. Was the table read during the pandemic of Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Mm-hmm. He got like method acting with it. He got it looked like actually high.
You'd assume
he was off book. Nobody else was off book, and they were in the movie originally, and he just.
We've got Sara Roemer who plays Ashley.
Truly
I really don't know her from anything.
No,
I looked it up. I'm like
before or after. I don't think I recognize her.
Carrie-Anne Moss. She plays the mother, Julie.
You'd know her obviously from The Matrix.
That's it though, for me.
David Morse plays Mr. Turner.
Big Stephen King guy. He's in a lot of that stuff. He was in The Langoliers. Was the first one I remember watching as a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Green Mile.
The TV version.
He's in a few other things I know for
The
sure.
Hurt Locker I'm seeing here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that's a huge one. I kind of don't remember. I mean, remember The Hurt Locker much.
This is a departure role for him. He normally just plays like a calming, big
nice guy. Yeah,
so,
it's not often he's the mean guy.
So
which,
somebody, I assume his agent knew somebody, and they're like, get him a new role. And they're like, all right.
I love him.
Can you wear an earring? Yeah.
Because he has it.
Aaron Yu plays Ronnie, the friend, kooky friend Ronnie.
He was the sidekick in the aughts you would see a lot of the time.
21. I like him a lot in 21.
I kind of like that movie.
Looking here, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Oh yeah, he was in that. He's just this role 3 times from 2007 to 2007.
Kind of. His name might even be Ronnie in each movie, and I wouldn't be, thrown.
He's in the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. It looks like.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, I do remember vaguely in that.
Then the last couple here. Sorry, I
quickly just silent
turn that off. Jose Pablo Cantillo plays Officer Gutierrez. A lot of TV work, but he's in Crank.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
way.
He does have a familiar face, though, from
He has
TV.
a super familiar face.
Yeah, I think he has to play a cop or something on TV.
He's in a lot of CSI stuff.
Is he in a med show? I feel like I see him in like a...
You're ticking off all the things he could be in for sure.
Med Show, Fire Show.
We're going to assume he's on one of the Chicago Med PDs and or MDs shows.
And then Viola Davis plays Detective Parker.
I love when this happens. It's sneaky. She's probably in her 40s. And then all of a sudden, through effort, time, and talent and getting the right chance, she's an Oscar nominee now. And like a perennial, she's there. Think how many people just don't get the right opportunity. She's obviously a great success story. But
Fences,
you couldn't.
The Help.
Yeah, it's based off
seen
of a
that
play. And it's tough to make movies into plays because normally dramatic plays take place in 2 rooms.
Couple spots.
So unless you add shit, which may piss off people that are fans of the plays, it was a bunch of talking. Great acting. They really killed monologue after monologue.
This is a podcast that does enjoy a dialogue-heavy movie, though, from time to time. So
I know, but you gotta. Fences was rough for me because they were just in their backyard.
Yeah, I get it.
Whew.
This is sort of on the other side of the spectrum as far as size of cast goes compared to Knives Out, so that's really it.
Oh, yeah. It's a very short cast, which
I'm a fan of.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, I keep it tight. In a weird way, though, I had a really tough time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to make sure you're right. Not a lot of options here.
I wouldn't say I did that, and I apologize for coming up, but I guess if you're listening to this, if you keep coming back, you guys already know I'm not good at recasting.
Yeah, well,
You made it list this time,
are.
which is progress.
I did write it down, but
It is much smoother when we don't have to look on Google the name of each person from each show.
Fuck was that guy?
The thing is, though, even though a lot of that does make it in the episode, they don't know how long it takes me to come up with
Oh,
it.
no, they don't know, but
It's forever.
movie magic,
Couple
everybody.
piss breaks.
True.
I'll be right back.
Let's move on to Unverified. right, Mark. Take me back to 2007.
Also in the box office in 2007 was Superbad, Knocked Up.
Great. Those came out.
Hot Rod.
Those were in the theater at the same time.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know months here. I'm just giving you the the
years.
Year.
Okay.
Yeah. Superbad, Knocked Up, Hot Rod, Blades of Glory.
Yeah, but better. Not as shitty as it gets credit for.
Pretty shitty.
The Reno 911 movie.
He loved it.
Live Free or Die Hard.
Well, I watched it.
Evan Almighty. Just sort of a short and sweet one here off the bat. Filmed in the same house as Zathura: A Space Adventure, 2005.
Yeah, that movie.
I know I did see it. It was pretty much Space Jumanji. If you didn't see it,
I saw that movie once. I just had to go back and look at a YouTube clip just to see it. And it is the same house.
I think I saw it with you. Weird enough. I think we saw
it at the first house.
Yeah, it was at the first house. Yeah, okay. So we did see it together. Yeah, it's Space Jumanji, and it's the first house. Mark did show me when I got here.
I have never heard of that movie.
It's with Dax Shepard and Space Jumanji.
Oh yeah, Dax Shepard and that little fucking kid.
You gotta be more specific than that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull that. I'm not gonna get there.
That's fine. A lot of the facts on this one actually are location based and kind of interesting. Here's a crazy one. So these were shot on location at 2 different houses, and they're made to seem. Oh, I'm talking about Cale's house and Mr. Turner. Sorry, the murderous neighbor.
Got it.
But they're made to seem across the street, right? But it turns out these houses were actually in 2 different cities and not at all in the same neighborhood. And there's actually a lot of fun things.
What do you mean,
shoot.
Interiors?
No, the exterior of the house is actually
like what? I mean, why do they do that?
Which I will say though,
It seems like it cuts pretty well.
See, it does actually cut really well.
amazing.
It does seem a lot harder, but it does cut great.
Well, the neighbor's house has to be super specific, as you can tell from watching this. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of the movies in that time that are teen movies, they're all just upper class to upper middle class, like California homes. So I mean, like they all look the same.
Oh, can I tell a little story about this? It has nothing to do with this movie, but about the fact. Last winter, took a lot of walks, right? Pandemic time, couldn't go anywhere.
Sure.
2 blocks away from us, all of a sudden, one night around Christmas time, the street looks like it is professionally decorated. And Megan and I are like, what is going on? And then the next day, we're like, let's walk to see if that was just a mirage or if it's real there. And
Our neighbors aren't that jovial.
Well, I just assumed that like this must be a rich block and this is what they do and we've never seen it before. But no, the next night we come and there's like a production setting up. We're like, what's going on here? And they're like, it's a Disney original movie. It'll come out in a year. I'll get the title later.
Nice.
I can't remember what it was, but it's supposed to like come out this year. So I'm wondering if this makes it at all in the movie.
Geezer Ebenezer.
It feels it can't be that far off of that, but it feels like it's just an establishing shot.
Yeah.
For a really decorated land. I got pictures on my phone. I'll show you guys.
I moved to the suburbs recently, and I'm actually kind of excited to see what my street's going to look like during Halloween and Christmas. I hope we go hard for both.
I actually think Halloween's going to be better in the city.
Yeah?
I think so, because here's why. Suburb people have so much more space, negative space. I think it's easier to decorate like your fence and then your very small yard in the city.
There's a lot more
That's actually
pressure on
true.
you living now in the suburbs to have a bowl of candy there, though. For
Oh,
for
yeah.
The good news is I'm not the man of the house yet, so like I'm not on trick or treat detail.
You're
I
going to
don't
be
think.
susceptible to carolers, possibly.
A few just interesting things about the location, which are kind of all the good ones about this. So you know the scene where Shia is looking through the fence at Mr. Turner mowing his lawn into the rabbit. He's like, "What are you doing here?" Turns out that was actually just an establishing shot, and there was just a set of his house in the background that was actually smaller than Mr. Turner. So it was just the fake, just screen replica of the house, just far enough back that it looked, or close enough that it looked.
I think you could just do that always.
I don't appreciate that.
The whole movie is just a weird
They've
location
duped
thing.
us
They did
as viewers.
Do you want to hear the last weird location thing I have? That I
do.
I walked in on Mark watching the end of the movie.
Okay, go on.
And I don't know. Well,
Say what you walking on me doing?
no, nothing about Mark, but about but
And this guy, you'll never believe this fucking guy.
but okay, so Kale's house, the backyard had a swimming pool, but because his neighbor had one, they wanted it, like him spying on her, and they didn't want him to have that too. They put a cover over it and they dressed it with grass, and you can tell at the end for sure. At least that's when I was coming in.
Because they run around it.
Well, yeah, he runs right over his lawn, but there's like his lawn is square, like pegs of grass. Like you can see the kind of like an outline that like it's clearly covering
I
something.
guess I didn't notice that, but again,
You
why
never,
are we
you
doing
never
that?
would. You wouldn't notice unless you're looking out
It
for it.
seems like
but-
if you don't have to shoot at a specific location, why not pick one that's easier?
Yeah, if it's why not you? There's probably a house in that neighborhood closer to that didn't have a pool.
I guess though, if you had a pool during house arrest,
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, you're like, I got a pool.
this just alludes to the genius work of Steven Spielberg. He came up with the idea of that little boy on the big wheel going by. Genius work there.
You can tell.
It feels like it feels like a Spielbergian move.
It's a brush stroke of greatness.
This seems uncomfortable. During filming, David Morse is a method, and he didn't speak to any of the kids the entire time they were filming.
That could have just been, I don't want to.
I do not like these kids.
My agent got me in this, and it just feels like a departure for me.
What do we think about method acting like that?
Work for Daniel Day-Lewis, I guess.
I think if you're not Daniel Day-Lewis, which everybody else isn't,
it's annoying. It's annoying to everybody else.
I don't know how far he goes. Luckily,
I don't know. I'm not against that.
I got a question about that. What if someday he, instead of playing Abraham Lincoln, which is a great role, like he's played some bad people in Gangs of New York. What if he played Hitler? Where does the buck stop?
He'd be great at it. Okay.
Oh yeah, it'd be amazing if someone's gonna play him. I'm sure he would bring out whatever you want the movie to make. Do what you got to do. But if you're gonna be like that, stay in your fucking trailer. Like, don't hang out with us, all right?
I mean, so I don't know. If you're Daniel Day-Lewis, I guess that's fine. But like for a movie like Disturbia, like
you don't need it.
You want to just chat a little bit?
I don't know.
It said he was method. He also went to some clubs, picked up women, and strangled them.
Yeah, right.
So this is kind of interesting. I don't remember this. Do you remember this? So in the 90s, Christopher Reeves did a remake of Rear Window that came out in 98.
It was a TV version.
So the script was actually optioned first in the 90s, and it was in production, but then Rear Window, the remake, was coming out, so it got shelved until the 2000s.
Christopher Reeve's big thing was he remade it while paralyzed, I'm pretty sure. And they're like, oh, that's brave.
That makes sense.
But it wasn't good.
Well,
have you guys both seen Rear Window? It's tough to say fast.
It is a mumbler. Rear Window.
Rear Window.
You get a whole lot.
Yeah.
You can get Google. To your question, yeah, it's my favorite Hitchcock movie.
Funny enough, I just watched it 2 weeks ago, and I watched Vertigo. I went on a little Hitchcock run.
Vertigo is obviously, I think people rank that most of the time his highest ranked one. I think Psycho, it gets actually not enough because of, like, it's too obvious.
Well, yeah.
But still, Psycho's the best, but Rear Window's my favorite for what it's worth. The Birds can get fucked.
Okay, interesting
I hate
take.
that movie.
Interesting take.
It's not my thing. I know, they get you, whatever, it's scary. Stay inside. They're birds. Underrated is Rope and Strangers on a Train.
You just said The Birds and made me think of The Burbs.
Yeah, we've got some transition.
There's some
similarities.
There's some Burby
similarity
feels.
there.
And there were some unverified. It's like, were they mentioning this? And no, Disturbia and Burbs, they're just like, no, the word Burbs, it takes place in the Burbs.
Which now
they're
going
reaching.
back, since we did it and re-recorded it, Shia LaBeouf could have been the neighbor boy.
Oh yeah, that could work.
Pizza dude.
In fact, I think we said that.
Did somebody get that? Did I do it?
Who's to say?
Let us know.
Keep painting your goddamn house.
So unverified. So if we didn't know, Rear Window, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, was actually based on a short story written by Cornell Woolrich. Hitchcock had the rights to do it then in the adaptation, but weirdly, the estate of Cornell Woolrich, or he himself, I'm not exactly sure if he's alive or when it was written, but they tried to sue Disturbia for infringement, but it went to court and it was just deemed essentially that you can't sue someone for rear windowing. You don't own spying on your neighbors. The ruling really came down to they said there was enough subplot that it's not the same movie. It's the same concept, but that's not enough. So there.
Having that said, it is the same movie.
It's
I guess
they just modernized it and made it for teens.
Yeah.
But fuck you.
And they got away with it. Actually, I did read this off the top of my head. There were two scenes that the actors just got to improvise. It was the father-son moment at the beginning when they were fishing. They just let him fish and filmed and just let him banter. And that feels a little like there wasn't a lot of writing.
And even though Shia LaBeouf isn't a method actor,
he went into 6 weeks of improv class.
No, he really got into it because we know he had dad problems.
Yeah, that's true.
Really,
Honey boy.
Really needed that fishing scene.
Also, the scene where after Ronnie breaks into Mr. Turner's house and he has the confrontation with his mom, I guess that was just an improvised fight between the two.
Oh, interesting.
Let's move on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
I always try to keep these sort of like in
Work into it. Chronological
order.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm more like Quentin Tarantino. Let's start at the end and work our way
You guys ever been fly
backwards.
fishing?
No, I'm not much of a fisher, but I will say, comment at the
Seems
beginning.
hard, but seems fun.
Picturesque, fishing spot.
I thought
Picturesque.
about this in great detail. Do I want to fly fish or do I just want to stand in the middle of the stream? Is it worth the rewarding part? I don't know. Have we seen a river runs through it? Of course we have. Do I want to? You bet you. Will I? I don't know.
I want to stick some waders on and
that seems fun.
stand waist high in some water.
You know what, Jordan? It's with the same romanticism that you have with smoking a pipe. So if you're ever just doing those that's the same activity you're trying to get done.
There's things you want to do, but you want to do them the right way, in a picturesque way, right?
Yeah, that is a beautiful spot.
I am saying I want to dress up and wear all the gear like I'm fly fishing, and I want to stand in the middle of just a beautiful scenic stream. But I don't think I need to fish. I think I could get the same.
We were somewhere
there.
like that in Colorado, but we
really were. Actually, I feel like I know where this is at.
Oh, really?
I feel like this is the Snake River.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
I
it
feel
sounds
like this
like
is
it
the
could
Snake
be.
River in Wyoming.
Let's somebody
But
hit us up.
when they're on the way back,
It's definitely not the same place they fished at.
but they're like, I'm an hour away from home or an hour away. Like,
Yeah.
where are they? Where did this take place?
I assume
California.
California, just blanket California.
For once, it doesn't seem like they're trying to be like Midwest, but really clearly California. I think they're just
They
California.
mentioned Madison at one point. I'm sure there are other Madisons than Wisconsin, but clearly not Wisconsin.
They're in California or Colorado or Wyoming. They're definitely not in the Midwest, South, East, Northwest, or Southwest.
No, I would not say so.
Another question about that location, or just a question about were they really there? The lighting looks kind of odd. Like it was like a
It did feel
backdrop.
some
Or
blue screening. I agree. I don't know.
I think I read it was all on location.
It looked blue screeny though.
Ooh,
at
maybe,
times, it looked like the lighting was like
maybe not the interiors though, just because if it was in this
Like
Zathara movie,
the
that's all.
background, the sun was here, but their light was hitting them.
it was just the lighting was too perfect, and I don't
Maybe
know.
it's just bad lighting. It might just be bad lighting.
Yeah.
Could be. Very well could be. I will say to that point, this may be a teaser for you guys. Don't keep it in here. Completely forgot that's how the movie started. Just
The
forgot about
accident?
the whole fishing thing.
Oh,
Do you remember the crash?
After I saw it, yeah.
So they
I'm
really-
like, oh yeah, this is how that movie starts.
They
I
really
forgot
Liam
about
Neeson degrade you, huh?
What's that?
They really Liam Neeson degrade you.
Degrade
Oh,
you.
no, they didn't grade
Degrade
me. I
you.
would say this is more just like the bulk of the movie. You forget that the beginning even happened. That's what I would say. I would compare it more to.
You forget why he's there.
I'm
Also,
gonna say A League of Their Own or anything where there's a prelude to the action. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's how it
I
started.
guess the movie starts.
Yeah.
Comment kind of an animosity. Like his home house arrest isn't that long. It's just like the summer, and he didn't even get through the whole thing before he went mad. We all went basically 2 years now on lockdown. Well, we get to
I
leave
think
a
a lot
little
of
bit.
people went mad.
Did he go mad?
Well, I'm just saying it's not that bad. He didn't go that long. He didn't even go like a month. Did
I
he?
don't think he went mad though, because it was.
No.
He okay. He didn't go mad, but he kind of like he tripped his mom a little too much early on when he could have kept his video games and his TV. Like he didn't need to like.
Yeah, he's definitely good charlataning right now.
He's
And
good
like,
charlatating for sure.
From someone who got grounded as a kid for literally,
summer,
like
yeah.
I was kind of under house arrest from my parents for getting caught like partying, drinking, whatever. I'm sure I've told the story.
by partying, he was swinging with like an older couple down the road.
Yeah, you know, I was having a good time. No, I'm just saying I was kind of under house arrest, and all I did was just watch a lot of daytime TV and read Harry Potter.
And listen to Good Charlotte.
I did listen
Actually,
to Good
yeah,
Charlotte.
that's when you found
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Also, just animosity. Like his mom cutting the cord, kind of a bad call.
a
Like,
dick
at least keep him preoccupied. He's a troubled teen. He's just in his room, not causing trouble. Like, yeah, give him
there's like
things to do.
2-3 other TVs in the house. He's going to be in the living room jacking off. Like,
Yeah, or I'll find another cord too. I guess I can't
I'm
order on
actually
Amazon
completely
yet. But
jealous of this. You said like jacking off. Like he doesn't have to leave his room for anything. You probably grew up with this too. Like you had your own room, right?
Yeah.
Just the world is your oyster to me. Like if I had my own room, which I did get briefly at the end of high school, I guess Cameron kind of grew up with it too. In high school,
All of high school was great.
Must have just been the best for you guys.
So like canceling Xbox Live obviously would suck, right? You can't play online games. But then they're like, this really dates it. Yeah.
The iTunes? How does she- why does she have his
disconnected
iTunes?
your iTunes too?
my mom would never know how to log into my iTunes, let alone like the payment information on that shit.
Again, this is getting made from like in 2007. I don't know if we all had iTunes accounts. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way we did. Did we?
Yeah,
Probably the start of it.
I don't
Maybe.
know. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Also, question: is this movie sponsored by Red Bull? Did you guys notice how many Red
He
Bulls
was
they
chugging
had?
Red Bulls early on there, huh?
I noticed some.
I noticed at least 5 at the beginning of the movie.
Right now, Cameron is drinking a Red Bull.
They're delicious. I have wings.
Why is everybody driving so fast on that fucking road when they crash? Like, why?
Bad place for an accident on that curve. You at least got to try to get out of the road.
I will say this: it shook me. I'm like, that seems realistic. That could happen to me.
true.
That's why you don't ride people's asses, though. You got to give us some space. That's how accidents happen. It's by riding someone's ass. You know what I mean?
Seems like kind of an animosity. Something could probably be done about that cop being on like his detail. Like you could probably at least file some sort of complaint.
Yeah,
Is
what
that
are we
realistic?
doing there?
Is that realistic at all, or I don't know how the world works. I guess our policing's pretty bad. I guess that's probably
Right now they're getting some pretty bad press.
I don't think it would be
Like
even
7
allowed for the cousin of the teacher, Spanish teacher, to be like whatever parole officer. I don't think that would be.
I also
Even
don't
appropriate.
fully understand the size of the town, but let's assume it's a suburb or a small city. So maybe. I mean, it's not like a big metropolitan area. It's probably.
But
like
even to that
100,000.
point is so there's obviously a lot of officers like.
Yeah, they could have,
somebody
but
else.
it might have even worked like this. Gutierrez, watch that asshole.
yeah.
He punched your uncle.
Oh, okay.
I could see it actually playing like that.
On the
Or
other
you
side, of it. I get what you're
requested
saying.
it. Yeah.
Teacher deserved to get punched.
That guy actually did. That's rude as shit. Like, yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, he
Oh,
lost
that
his
teacher
dad.
had it coming. He was kind of pushing him there a bit.
That was
I mean,
bullshit.
it's unfortunate for our main character that he's the one who did it, but like he should have been punched probably earlier that day from someone. No,
And then that cop doesn't deserve to die, but he does. We'll get to that, I guess.
no, I think he deserves to die.
Okay, cool. He had it coming too.
He seemed like an okay guy. It almost seems like he was going to be borderline a like not a father figure, but a.
We're jumping around a little bit here, but that
Okay, yeah,
that
yeah.
burger looked really good. The one he got
Yeah, it
after
really
shift.
did.
I'm a burger guy.
Although I did say
Good
this to Mark,
burger.
if I was to be like if I'm like a cop and I know I'm getting a call, I wouldn't want a full stomach if I'm probably gonna have to wrestle a teenager to the ground.
no,
Like, doesn't
not
that
at
seem the
all.
worst?
He was off shit. He didn't know he was gonna get that call.
But he was still he was like, I'll get there when I get there. He still knows he's
Oh, I
gonna
see
have
what
to
you're
like
saying.
deal with stuff.
There's probably
You just got off shift and you bought an animal style In-N-Out burger.
That's what I don't. I'm not.
You
a
were ready for that burger.
I'm going home. Like even if it's that dick kid, there's not a chance I'm going back there.
There's-
With the burger purchase, done. Not
Where's
going
the
back.
change of shift? I mean, someone else is now on duty to take care of that.
Yeah, send him.
you wait it out. Unless they call out your
Well, I
squad
mean,
car, you're like, just,
You know what?
just
I
wait
guess
it out.
I guess we do have our answer from earlier though, because the lady on the comms is like, "Do you still want first dibs on that whatever kid?" So it's a crooked
Be
system.
careful
and
what you wish for.
Turns
You
out
get
those
shot.
couple bites of
you
burger
get your neck broken.
Oh yeah, you're right.
got his neck broken. That that little time he spent eating his burger.
Oh, I'll get to that sneaking around later. That is crazy to me. but-
Movies make it seem like, and I have no idea, breaking your necks, just a little twist, just a twist a little
well,
past.
I had a bunch.
We're
of
here now. Just
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, pretty much when that guy gets taken down. Well, number one, I love that Mr. Turner can just, he's like 6'5", and he can just slide up to a wall and he's invisible. Jesus.
like a bear behind like a skinny tree.
Yeah,
If you're sneaky,
Jesus,
you're
guys,
sneaky.
look around. He's a bad cop.
He's got the sneaking ability of like when you're a kid, it's like just because I can't see you doesn't
Yeah.
mean you can't see me. It's like you're
It's
right
Jurassic
there.
Park T-Rex.
Oh yeah.
Just don't.
Although oddly enough, I caught the end of that, and that T-Rex at the end sneaks in without anybody noticing to save them from.
Yeah, it is a little crazy.
Like
He
when
got in there.
you guys have noticed him chomping around, like pacoom, pacoom, and then
There
he
wasn't
just
a glass of
yeah,
water
no,
for you to realize he
there
was
no
coming.
telltale sign, and then all of a sudden he's behind your shoulder saving you. That was a little silent. I did catch that for a second. I do want to, if you're ready, I kind of, this may get into recasting, so I won't go too far.
Okay, go too far.
I think it's a miscast with the guy they had to play Mr. Turner.
Oh, I actually kind of like
I
it.
love it.
I actually
don't
do
know why.
like it.
I
works for
like
me.
him, but
Well, that's why you don't like it though, because we do like him and he's kind of nostalgic and it's a weird family thing. But I kind of did like him playing against character in this.
so I'm fine
even
with
though
the
you
playing
knew it was-
against character. What I guess I'm saying is, it was too over the top. Even though it was a teenage movie, that he's the bad guy, he's the villain.
Yeah,
His
Jordan,
character acted like
it's
it.
Rear Window. It's who you think it is.
You guys might hate me for this, but I saw Disturbia before I saw The Green Mile.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
So how did that affect it? You must have loved the Green Mile. Then you're like, oh,
I
my
love
God.
it. Yeah, love The
Well,
Green Mile.
sorry for many reasons,
but it didn't affect it to like you're saying. You know him as this kind of
Yeah.
nicer
That
guy.
makes sense.
So
Well, I guess the big difference between Rear Window, which they're nothing alike according to the court
To the
system,
lawsuit.
but I mean, in that you never.
They're enough different.
it's like Queen and
No, that one I
and
think
Ice Ice
actually.
Baby.
They lost.
Most of the time,
Oh, did they?
most of the time, I want to side with. It's like just you money, you grubby money, like estates. Just let somebody else make money. But that one, I'm pretty sure was just under pressure.
Just remind me off air. I have sad news about the Bob Ross estate. Jesus Christ.
we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. Anyway, no, the big difference is though we see in Disturbia the bad guy a lot, and you never actually see him except from the point of view from the apartment rear window.
Right.
So it like plays different, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes
We
sense.
That's what
don't
you're saying.
exactly know what he was doing.
It's all from Kale's perspective, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Now I have a question from the girl's from Ashley's perspective. At what point is Kale just being a pervert and a creep? Like she pretty much in general. At what point has he crossed the line? Has he crossed the line from all of his peeping? What do you guys
Well,
think?
it was either the creepiest or the sweetest thing he's ever said to her at that one point.
Creepiest. I think I have to chalk that one up to pretty weird. And if you have to start any speech, I think I even have it written down. Like if you have to start anything of like, well, I've noticed a lot about you. Ooh, red flag. Okay, so you're watching.
I've seen like a handful of movies and TV shows like from our childhood. Peeping Tom, I mean, it was just, it was the butt of a joke. It was more acceptable. I mean, look at Back to the Future. That's how his dad met his.
Now
like,
you
that's
can be on
just
a list.
I'm not pro Peeping Tom. I'm just saying, binoculars. I don't even know what you use binoculars for if you're not peeping on something.
Just bird watching. I don't know what else it could be.
Oh, that seems odd too.
That's right.
So yeah, creepy. Should we give thumbs
Peeping
up
on
to
birds
creepy?
is creepy.
I think so.
Well, if you're talking about birds like girls, like look at those cute birds over there. Then
Look at those gams on that bird.
Yeah, so I mean, likable in the end, but he's border on creepy, much like Jimmy Stewart in more Vertigo. If you want Jimmy Stewart uncomfortable in Hitchcock, Vertigo.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. He is just really creepy in Vertigo.
Yeah.
Here, dress like this. Let me style you. That's kind of not that voice. It's like, oh, let me.
No, because it's more aggressive. So let's talk about the neighborhood a bunch. Sorry, let's talk about
Let's talk about it a bunch.
so much
just
about
as much
the
as you want.
neighborhood.
Are we
Let's talk
thinking
about-
Just keep talking about the
zone
neighborhood.
parking or not?
Let's talk about the neighborhood a bit. Is what I was going for. I'm glad you guys caught on that. So I don't think Mr. Turner's being too quiet about all the murder. Like
Shut your blinds,
very
everybody.
Klopecki.
Just shut your blinds.
Very
for
Klopecki
two
about it.
secret rooms, he does the initial like seduction and stabby in the living room. He couldn't at least be like, "Oh, I have a great wine collection. Follow me into this room with no windows in the hallway." Like you can't move it. Like you can hear the scream from
Turn off
Kale's
the lights.
window.
Do another room.
Just the fact that Kale didn't have the TV on or a radio, you could hear, "Oh my God, Mr. Turner's stabbing me!"
there
from like
must be
across the
something.
street.
I feel like the alderman or something made it like a bylaw or something. You can't have blinds or curtains on your windows.
You can't call in the first scream. You got to call in at
See,
least
this
after
is-
the set. Too many false
This
alarms.
is a big animosity. This is why you don't get into a homeowners association. Sometimes you're gonna want blinds, otherwise you're gonna eventually get caught for murder. Like I just want some blinds. It's like you can't have them. This is a homeowner association.
But I mean, is cul-de-sac vibes?
Burby cul-de-sac vibes. One way in, one
I
way
don't
out.
believe it is a cul-de-sac though. I think
No,
that's
no,
a street.
no, just a street.
You are
I
correct.
would love a cul-de-sac. I think we all think it's
But
better.
I'm even saying, like, for Kale's like across the street neighbor, he hears that scream. You're telling me, like, the side. What's up with the side neighbors that they're, or do they know? Do they have some suspicions
Cameron,
too?
you don't ask questions.
Okay, that's true.
You stay out of it.
They have
if
to
the
s-
cops show up, you're like, yeah, I suspected that.
They have to
I
smell
did
something from
suspect
that body
Well,
water
when the
pit.
cops show up, you're just like, I don't know. He keeps to himself. But
Keeps
when the
to
news
himself.
shows up, you're like, I had
true.
a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, the news doesn't hold you liable.
Frankly, we're not going to take it anymore.
I do have a question about just in general movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easy to just dig below your floorboards in your basement and have a murder basement situation?
When you get to dirt, Jordan, it's just dirt. You got to dig. Just quite animosity.
It's a weekend of work, though, right? I mean, like that's
Yeah, it's
takes
a long
time.
weekend.
It's gonna take.
You gotta take Monday
I mean,
off.
you saw Kevin Bacon in Stir of Echoes. First, you got to get through the concrete, then it takes a whole weekend of losing your family to madness.
I do know exactly what you're meaning, but everyone's like, Stir of Echoes. Are you talking Hollow Man or?
No, it's a Kevin Bacon movie from like the '90s or the 2000s. He used to say.
I do think, though, to go back to your question of why is he doing it out in the open, Mr. Turner.
He's
I
mad.
think eventually all serial killers want to get caught.
You don't just throw bodies
And
into
you
a
get
body of
flippant.
water under your house and go, "That's the end of that chapter." If you don't want to get caught.
I think
His-
I think they might though be like, and
You know what though? I do kind of like his method. That like his
Go
whole,
on.
Well, his whole mo of the time before is he just packed up and moved with all like the bodies just.
he
left
brought them with him or just leave them?
No, they said the house that he left had all the bodies lined in like the house. So he clearly just some days like, well, that's the end of that chapter. Just sold the house to some couple. They're like, There is
So
a
he's already
weird
been
smell
questioned.
from our extra basement.
He has to have already been questioned, right? Like, hey, this last couple houses you've been living in.
How is he buying houses without an identity, or how is he forging identities to get these houses just to leave? I guess.
I mean, I guess he doesn't have to forge anything if there's no record of him. I'm sure he's just buying houses or renting.
Well, there has to be some. If he's buying the houses, he has to be doing some sort of alias.
He does not get a security deposit.
Well, because if you remember, they had like an MO of the guy. Wait, what did you say?
So he doesn't get a security deposit back. It's like, did you dig in the basement? It's like, yeah, I did some digging, but I'll pay. Whatever. I don't need it.
that $1,000? He's not seeing that again.
I'd assume not.
First month's rent.
Yeah.
I'd assume not. No.
Sorry, that I guess
This is beyond just the serial killer-ness of it all. He's just mowed his lawn like twice a day for every day.
Yeah,
Let's take away two aspects. Let's say he's not a murderer.
Loved
Okay.
gardening. Had a green
He
thumb, didn't he?
is your weird single neighbor who's 55 and makes you feel uncomfortable. We've all run into this guy, and we're like, could be a murderer. Hopefully he's not. Not gonna look into it.
The scene where
this guy's giving you
the
murder
scene where he
vibes
hops
the whole
into
time.
Ashley's car, takes the keys out, is when you know your neighbor's a murderer. That's not a normal move.
Well, I believe they knew it already, and he's like, "I will murder you."
Not at that point. That was
No,
Well, they were spying. They were
That was the
suspicious.
tipping point, I feel
Yeah.
like.
that was the first time that Ronnie was sneaking into the car. Oh, also, I have a question. So this is an honest question here. So Shia saw the red-haired lady leave Mr. Turner's house, and then he saw a wig downstairs. Did he see a 6'5" Mr. Turner in a red wig leave the house and cram into that tiny car and be like,
Yes.
"That's that lady"?
A big ogre looking.
He saw. Okay,
This
he,
is great.
broad.
Now we're moving from Rear Window to now Psycho.
Yeah.
That's a Norman Bates movie.
You do see like that through like kind of some blinds through the window, but like you can tell a
guy is a
6'5"
hulking
man.
man.
Yeah, you can tell
There's
the
no
difference
way.
between that frail lady and him in a wig.
He's got a type.
Yeah, red hair, I guess. Yeah, weird. I guess
He's anti.
he has one wig. He's going out looking for one wig that he bought.
In for a penny, in for a pound. This guy's got a lot of wigs.
I was going to use that.
If he
I was
has
going to use it
one-
for a penny and for a pound.
If he has one wig, he has a million wigs. All right, that's all I'm saying.
His mom had red hair. He only hates one person, Jordan.
That could be. I have no idea. I even forget that. Oh, I do have one animosity though about the whole spine situation. There's a big reveal that
Spine.
Not sorry,
Spying.
Spying.
What
Got
did
it.
I say?
Spine.
I thought you
Oh,
said spine, like spinal cord.
Spinal.
Yeah.
Oh, no, spying. It's a rear window for
Yeah,
you.
sure
Okay,
is.
sorry, I'm a mumbler. It's the ability. This is like 2007, right when digital cameras kind of became affordable.
Oh.
You would not be able to see anything from across the block, across the room,
No.
even with the zoom. It would be the grainiest video.
Well, what
and he
was-
sees a face in like the fucking
Well, he
Yeah.
also
bed system.
he CSI
That-
zooms
that-
in like enhance.
I know, but it just is. It's just so.
What was
ignorant.
frustrating was that when he'd kind of go from binoculars back to video camera, binoculars back to video camera, you could see way better with the binoculars. Just like
Yeah, just you
Well,
can see clearly.
we
now
actually need to go back to the
rain
beginning
is
of
gone.
The rain is gone.
We actually need to go back to the like kind of the start of the movie when he's first spying on Ashley. He's doing it with the lights fully on in his fucking room. Everyone can see you, asshole.
yeah, I don't know too much about lighting, but
You have to be in darkness
Everybody
to be
can see.
Yeah, you're just playing me like with your eyes. Well, okay, I'm miming having binoculars
Yeah,
up against the window, but like
and I love he's like
everyone can see you,
muttering to
dickhead.
himself, they can't see me, can they? Yep, they're looking right at
Looking
some
right-
douchebag.
But what we're not privy to is like 2 houses down, somebody's doing something real weird. It's like I'm into this. Like I like this, the neighbor boy or whatever. You know.
Everyone needs to shut their blinds, turn off their lights if they're gonna do all their peeping.
Yeah, he had lights on a majority of the time.
Yeah, with his feet just like on the windowsill.
Especially during the party when he is spying on Ashley, everyone's like, "What's that weird motherfucker who punched Mr.
Oh,
Gutierrez
yeah, here he
doing?"
goes again.
Shut your lights off. I don't know your last name.
We see you. Oh, animosity at the party. She just left the party.
Oh, 100%. She left like 100+ kids at her parents' house. Like,
Oh yeah, you get what you asked for.
we wouldn't have seen her the rest of the
Solo
movie because
cups,
she's
beer
grounded.
Cans, I assume they're drinking underage.
Oh yeah,
I got that vibe. Yeah.
she would have been on house arrest and just grounded the rest of the summer from that.
Well, what's her home life? The
True.
dad's a bad guy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's not going to help any situation. I'll say that.
Which also actually brings an animosity. She says she's from the city. They live in the suburbs and like she doesn't
What
have any
city?
friends. No, they're 16. They can
Boise.
drive. Her friends are like within an hour. They're acting like she has to make all these new friends, but she's in the suburbs and they're in the city
Well,
and they
yeah,
have cars.
but you can't like go there every day.
Yeah.
How often do you see Jordan?
It's true. You moved to the suburbs.
Once
I'll
a
see you
week,
at
You
November.
moved to Disturbia.
Yeah, you did move to Disturbia.
That's true.
You're a suburban hermit now.
That's true. I'm just a hermit. Now I'm just a hermit.
I know. Now that you're out of the city,
Subhermit?
suburban.
That sounds underground.
That sounds like a subterranean.
We're working on it. We're getting there, patent pending.
I think it's suburban hermit.
But I mean, at least like you wouldn't have to start all over. It's
He'll
not,
get there.
It's not like a complete fresh start. She's in the same area.
no, but like your day-to-day summer life.
Yeah, that's
is
true.
You're isolated. It's a new school. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's
Luckily, just around the corner, across the street, across the fence, this guy's under house arrest.
True. You got a friend nearby.
Any red flags for her? None.
From her to him,
Funny enough,
She
my
seemed
next
to have no red flags.
no red flags.
funny enough, my
She's
next
flirty.
note in my things was I will never find it attractive that you've been watching me and took a lot of notes. Red flag. That is the red flag. I literally took a note. That was
That could have gone either way for him. I mean, it just worked perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that couldn't have gone any better. For
yeah. If she wasn't having problems at home, that wouldn't have worked out so well. She needed the attention.
She was
wasn't
also
getting
good
it.
charlating.
Oh yeah.
Are you at all interested in this movie if it turns out he's wrong about his neighbor?
Wait, say that one more time.
I've thought about this with this movie and kind of movies
Little
like
M Night
this.
situation.
No, nothing like that.
If he just went mad and he's the problem.
Not that he's a problem, just his neighbor's just a kind of odd guy, but not
Just
a murderer.
only had the dead deer in his garage.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
dead deer.
Is that a crime still? I'm pretty sure if you get in any accident, you're supposed to report it. So at worst, Shia still got him a ticket that
I think
night.
there's like a tag situation.
yeah, you're supposed to at least call in that you've.
Yeah, I'd still be like, officer, isn't that weird still?
It's pretty weird.
Pretty
Or
weird.
if I was Shia, at least be like, well, he dinged up that bumper that lady disappeared in. It matches the description of that disappear. There's still a lot going on here.
Let's look into this.
Yeah.
If he's not a murderer,
everyone would be
Mr.
like-
Patterson.
It smells like there's like 20 bodies just in some water under your house.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've
Was-
had a dead mouse like in my apartment, like in the wall
not
somewhere,
just a
and you
mouse.
can just smell. You can like, there's a dead mouse in there.
Was
then
the
there's
deer
no
to cover
doubt.
up the bodies?
Later, when Jordan's arrested, we're going to have to be like, he was always bringing up that smell of that dead mouse in his house. He's always like, don't worry.
What I'm saying is, if what I believe to be one dead mouse
Was that bad, you're right.
6 humans would be just awful.
Did he put
Yeah,
the water
the
there?
ratio is quite something
Yeah,
there.
it's like 1 million dead mice.
Did he put the water there? Or does he,
A crypt of dead mice.
Did he put the water under his house, or does he have
I
a
think he
problem?
just dug. Yeah, he hit,
I think
he hit a pipe.
That's what happens when you just dig under
I
a
think
house.
he dug enough that maybe he hit water, but I'm also like to
natural
believe
ground
that
well?
yeah, like he just moisture seeps
I don't think you
in.
can build on that.
That's just the smell of gas, natural gas.
Natural gas. Hit a pipe.
Hit a pipe, run!
My wife is home.
Let's do the verbs at like
Again?
once a month. I'd like to think he filled it up.
Okay.
It seems like a
okay. He's a
murder.
murderer. We don't know he's a smart guy. I imagine he threw a couple bodies down there and just again hose on. He's like, and that'll dissolve those, no problem.
I didn't get the vibe that he's a smart murderer.
No.
Just, you find dumb women. and
Just
you can
if you
murder.
just don't have an identity, if you were born out of the hospital system, I think you can just murder.
Did I miss something in the movie? Is that what he's saying?
No, but he just doesn't have an identity.
like you're bringing this up like he's a spy. I think he just murders and moves. I think he's of normal. Like
Right,
he's
but
going
they're-
by his
they're
name.
onto his trail because-
I'm Mr. Patterson.
They're onto his trail because someone did this in Texas as a homeowner and just moved and left.
Yes, I think it was him.
Right. But if it was just him and he moved, they would know it's Mr. Turner. It can't be the
Mr.
same
Turner,
identity.
God, I've said
You
Mr.
can't do
Patterson,
that. You
like-
can't buy a house without. You have to put a name on
Well,
things.
that's I kind of
rent.
alluded to earlier. Like maybe his just whole story is I didn't know.
That there were What? What do you mean you didn't know?
He didn't know there was a secret compartment, a
What if-
crypt of
what if he had-
watery grave.
What if he had no sense of smell, Cameron?
What's happening here? You guys, people.
You're giving one side of the story. I'm saying this could be another.
Here's what's happening.
option.
He's Catch Me If You Can, and he's buying a house as Mr.
Yeah, and we've
Appleboy.
learned that you're
and then-
willing to lie enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and just moving.
I don't
he can't
think
be.
he had. I didn't get the vibe that he's switching his name though. Is he?
You. How else could he just
Cash
move?
is king. If you only live there for 3 months, you can find somebody. To,
I can't. This isn't the old
Right
West.
now,
I
Cash.
can't kill you guys. Move to fucking Indianapolis and just be like, I live here now. That couldn't have been me.
You're hiding bodies in the house. You're just killing us and leaving us there. Damn,
Really?
I lived there.
Oh,
Holy fuck.
oh, someone put them there while I was
That
living
was
there.
what-
What?
Well, before. Come on.
Your guys' logic is shit. It's just
Equally as
shit.
preposterous as yours.
No.
You're saying he's a spy. Catch me if you can.
I'm not saying I'm a spy. I'm saying he at least gave a false name buying a house.
It's quite possible,
It's
but I
the
still
only
don't know
thing
that he
that would
is.
make sense. Otherwise, the only other option is no one looked into the previous homeowner with all these dead bodies left in the home.
It's not quite
He
conceivable.
got questioned a lot.
Serial
questioned
killers
a
seem to have.
lot.
Yeah, they're like,
They're still on this guy.
Especially with the homeowners situation. It's gonna smell so bad. They're like, you're supposed to take out your trash. It's like, what about deer?
What about deer
What about
carcasses?
buried deer carcasses in your
there's
basement?
nothing
Roadkill.
Nothing in the bylaws.
What you doing? Burying bodies?
Hiding bodies.
I would say though that if it was to me, we assume he's gonna do something with those bodies, the ones in the water.
The last ones he just moved and left him. I think he just leaves
Seems
them.
pretty shrine oriented in the end there.
I suppose you're gonna do one of two things. You're gonna bury him in your backyard, but if you did all the work to like dig up your foundation, you're just gonna throw them in there and put them all in water.
Oh, which does bring up a question though. He has a secret room already for the torture in the operating room, and then with,
Again, where did these happen? That's what he had to do that.
yeah,
right?
we have
or
to
contract that out.
Funny enough, when I was looking at his wiring, I'm like, oh, he would have had to put in those boxes himself. He would have had to, yeah. So he has to.
Is every
handyman
murderer in these movies like capable of just being a carpenter?
At least a basic electrical,
contractor?
a little electrical, little plumbing. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah.
And is there room in every house just to knock out a wall somewhere and then have
He's
a
going
surgical murder room?
subterranean. He's going
Jesus
down.
Christ was a carpenter.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. that opens up a lot of doors there.
You heard it here first. Mark's hot take might have been a murderer.
Okay, but Mr. Turner has a secret room. But
Do
within
we
his
think
secret,
that Jesus was that level of carpentry? I always thought
it's
he was
the
making
only
like stools.
thing.
Stools.
Yeah.
I
More in
mean,
the
we
wood
know him
gang.
to have a profession. I mean, it's at least mentionable.
I know,
Pool
but I
cues.
just feel like the amount that
don't
the
think-
type of huts
it-
I've seen that they lived in.
If
and
I
stuff.
die, I don't think like Cameron. He worked at a mortgage firm. At least, like, I'm not known for
No,
that. You
but
know?
if you were at least to some people believed as the son of God, they'd dig into it a little
Okay,
more.
that's true. That's
The
true.
one that
You're
died
close
for
to Cameron,
everybody's
worked at a
sins.
morgue.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
we
if
go.
you did something really bad, they'd be like, "Yeah, he was. I don't know, whatever he did."
Okay, but Mr. Turner has a hidden room, but within his hidden operation room, he built a hidden bookcase. If it's his hidden room, at that point, why wouldn't he just put a door in? It seems super inconvenient to him. Theoretically, no one's going to find that house until he changes his name and sells it to the new owners to
Well, once
find.
the HOA finds the secret room, you'd want another
Is
secret
this
room.
is this a bookcase? This isn't allowed. This is the HOH Association of Libertyville. God damn it!
I've always wanted like just a book I can
Oh,
like
of course.
Oh,
This is
sort of
the
100%.
dream.
towards me,
100%.
open- Yeah,
What do you want it to lead into? Personally, I don't do it.
I don't care if it's just a
Operating
3-foot
room.
space in
Yeah,
my.
yep, that's the dream.
I don't care if it just leads into the gap between my walls, as long as I have access somewhere that doesn't look like it's supposed to be there.
I don't smoke cigars, but I want it to be in a leather
yeah,
chain
that
cigar.
kind of thing.
That's-
Yeah.
Or just a library of books I don't read. Just sneak into
that
the library.
sounded so. Just a library of books I will never read.
Well,
Method of killing for Mr. Turner. Again, back to the
Hug a wall.
You Cameron, you asked me this earlier when we were finishing the movie. Does snapping somebody's neck does that kill you right away, or are you kind of like
it does seem like
squirming around a
it
bit? What are
does
we
seem
doing
like it
there?
would paralyze you. But my question kind of was like, am I still conscious and just kind of suffocating until everything shuts down? Like, am I still there for like 2 minutes?
Nope, it's like powering down a computer. It's off. It's over. You're dead right away.
Not my old Mac. That thing took a while.
Mr. Turner takes one blade to the stomach and dies.
Dead right away.
Unless, I could have maybe seen if Shia, pierced both blades through and snapped his spine with it. But Mark and I were even talking. That's just such an inefficient way of killing
Did
someone.
you say spine or spying? Sorry.
Spine.
Bringing it back.
Spine.
Confusing. Also, though, if you remember our hedge clippers growing up, we could barely get through shit. They were uneven. They dull so quickly.
Hedge
So-
clippers
How
is
many
a
times are you going to
tough-
bring up that we had bad hedge clippers? No, it'd be a tough stab, I think. I bet there's some out there.
I mean, do you one hand it? It's
Shia
cumbersome.
he
Very
went in,
cumbersome.
He went in with the one blade.
I would have to two-hand hedge clipper stab.
Do you do any
scissoring?
you do any scissoring, or is it just stabbing? I think you just do
I
the
think you
stab.
just stab. If you had big enough hedge clippers and I guess a movie that was campy enough, you're chopping heads
I think no matter what
But they'd have to
I
be-
think my arms are going to naturally just do that. You know what I mean? I think I'm just going to
You're
want
so
them.
used to clipping
Yeah,
hedges.
yeah.
It's what it's designed for.
Its
I
main
tried.
uses.
I tried.
I'm glad Ronnie survives, but you can't take that.
I have hit some pretty thick branch, and I'm like, I need more than this hedge clipper. We did, I think, have a really bad start.
It was real.
I don't know what the new ones. We had like a 40-year-old.
Okay, I'm glad Ronnie survives, but you can't take that kind of hit to the head with a baseball
You
bat.
can't.
That would be worse to me and more damaging then the neck break, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, that is
and if you see from the
what we
bruises-
know about brain injuries now.
I'm a vegetable from then. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
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 Even if you make it through,
Feeding tube.
stuff has changed. Ronnie's not as play. I mean,
Ronnie's
we know
not
this,
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Now
Speaking
you're-
of that, I have no idea when Ronnie's going to be there and isn't from within the same scene. I feel like sometimes he's part of their crew, then Ronnie's not there.
He's sleeping in the back lot. I think imagine Ronnie's always there.
Then he's hiding in the
is he
closet.
always there, though?
He's always there
Ooh,
somehow.
terrible joke. You got to read the room, Ronnie.
Read the
That's
room,
a bad.
Ronnie.
Like your friend's going to jail,
Oh, the biggest unread the room was at the end where they're
making out. Ronnie
making
keeps
out. Ronnie's
recording.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually the first.
Threesome or what?
No, we did just
No,
me in the
we're not doing
background.
that.
That's fine.
But also Ronnie's bruise, if you notice at the end, that was all like on his eye too. So like that baseball bat would have just shattered his socket.
It looks like it's getting worse too. I mean, you got to get that looked at, Ron.
Also, Mark asked this too. Is that like
he
is
got
that
medical attention, right?
Yeah, well, that's also the question though. Like, is this next day, next week? Like, what is this supposed to be when he's getting his ankle bracelet released at the end?
Oh, they
What's
made a
that?
comment.
Oh, do they?
To the extent of, I've never seen anybody get off on good behavior.
Well, yeah, but
So if he's in there for 35 days, I'd say it's at day 28.
but after Mr. Turner is dead, is that the next day he's getting that off, or is that like some time passed?
No, there has to be a legal process. There has to be some
Shia looked a
paperwork
little
and
more
hearing.
healed, so I'd say like a week,
Okay,
2 weeks.
okay, that's cool. Just wondering
You know what would be funny? He's probably going to chill in this room a lot still.
if now that the adventure's gone
He's
for
fucked.
Ashley,
He's killed a man now.
yeah, that's
I mean,
changing. Dude. That's true.
Your dad's still dead.
his dad died within a year. His neighbor
You're not
killed.
mad at me, you're mad at your dad's dead.
Good Charlotte is still his
He's
favorite
never
band.
going to be able to let his mom date anyone. He's going to have some weird trust issues there now.
Seems like it was already on that boat, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's true.
stronger. There's long listing ramifications of.
But it still ended on a good note. We still got like Tal Bachman's "She's So High" playing in the background.
Yeah, but then Ashley's going to not like him because he's not a bad boy and he can leave. So she's actually going to move on to some different things. Now that you can leave the house, I've realized you're pretty
They're
weird.
not gonna make it. He's a
Weirdy.
trapped in house boyfriend guy. Like that's a very unique friend zone. House arrest guy, neighbor house arrest guy. It's like I'm not really an.
You know he's
outsider.
always there for you.
Exactly.
This is kind of along the lines of the same like he wanted to get caught, Turner. Just you
I
they all
think
kind
that
of do
they
eventually.
have to, right?
But, like,
Yeah.
he had kind of a good plan there after the whole like deer thing when the cops came and arrested Kale with like the suicide note and the.
Oh,
and
you're saying he set
he had
up
a
like
plan there, but then
Then he gets stabby.
he gets
Yeah,
real
yeah.
stabby. He starts killing cops and shit.
It's going to be hard to cover that up.
You got to kill everybody. You got to go Liam Neeson and you got to start killing everybody.
Or
It-
just
it
dip.
is-
You've already dipped before. It's probably a fake name. Leave all those bodies. Get a new house.
It is more just an off
Mm-hmm.
the side comment, not big about the movie. I like when you go back to movies like this. I've seen this enough, but you don't remember it in your register, but like Viola Davis is in it. That's
Mm-hmm.
a great, like, oh, cool. And then the soundtracks, you're like, man, this got a lot of Kings of Leon on it. But I just didn't remember I liked them then because I didn't know them.
Funny enough, at the end, we were like, who is this? And we're like, oh, it's Kings
Just a
of
bunch
Leon.
of Kings. I think that happens. If you go back to, and I know it's problematic, Entourage is just literally.
I guess I don't know
Leon.
Kings of Leon as much as I just know Sex is on Fire and that other one.
All right.
Should we move on to recasting? Recasting. What do we got, Mark?
I mean, so we've got the 4 or 5 main characters. Did you guys do Gutierrez or
I couldn't
only
think
did
of anybody.
or Detective Parker?
Who'd you guys have?
I did Regina King, sort of a chalk Detective
Sure.
Parker.
Yeah, you've done her before, kind of.
I
as
have, yeah.
Anytime there's like an officer, but I get why you're. I get it.
Southland.
Yeah. That
I
makes
actually
sense.
like Southland.
I did a similar chalk, but I went into the somebody who had to take a bunch of small roles until they got the right roles. I did Octavia Spencer, Oscar
Okay.
nominated.
Nice.
Could have done
That works just as well.
Raji P. Henson, all the same thing.
Do you have anyone, Cameron?
Nah.
Gutierrez, then. Do you have Gutierrez, Cameron?
I didn't do these two. I just
Okay.
didn't even think about it. I'm not even gonna try.
I
What do you guys
did
have?
Michael Pena.
Ooh, I did him last week. I am a Michael Pena fan. It seems a little stern for him. He seems a little more happy, but I see it.
I just did John Bernthal.
John Bernthal, know the name.
The cowhand, essentially, for Walking Dead. That
Okay,
guy.
I got you. Who are we on?
Julie, the mom.
Who do I have for Julie?
I'll go first because this is who I do for every mom or this type of character. I went Carla Gugino.
It is crazy how many
I have a
times we've
crush on
done her
her.
that we've always pronounced her name
differently.
no like that.
Gugino.
One of these times we'll actually look up an interview and just figure it out. But
She just doesn't get a lot of interviews.
Also another. We were talking about Entourage earlier. Anyway,
She's not.
also not.
Anyway, again, I just like her.
I did Vera Farmiga.
I also did Vera Farmiga.
We did Miga. Sorry, we've done Conjuring. Yeah, we've done her before.
She's a good kind of like mom
this
with the
age.
troubled
yeah,
children. So, yeah.
she's good. It works.
Got it.
I'm not gonna hate it. I did it.
Sorry, we kind of ganged up on you there.
No, that's fine.
Let's do Ronnie next. I did a throwaway. I did Josh Gad, goofy friend.
I some of the reason you guys might not know him, Manny Jacinto. He's from The Good Place.
Got a picture there?
He plays. His name might be Ronnie.
Oh, he's
he's the
kinda
trailer
like the-
trash Florida guy.
Oh yeah, I've seen enough episodes to know who he is, but I didn't.
Do you have a picture? Or can I?
He just plays a goofy.
Okay.
He just plays the goofy, wacky. He plays Florida trash on a TV sitcom series.
Nice.
I was just gonna do Michael Cera, just in the background before he said his young Michael Cera.
Different vibe for sure.
It's more of a Jonah Hill.
Ooh, okay, so we're in that ballpark.
Okay. Anyway, that's why I did Josh Gad. Mr. Turner.
I kind of
This
like
one
mine
was
actually.
hard for me because I just
This one was hard for me as well.
it really was.
Tim Robbins. He's a big guy. He's a good actor. He mostly plays kind of nice, goofy things, but he can do this. He wouldn't want. He doesn't need to, and he doesn't want to, but he could have.
No one's gonna. I can see.
Yeah, I mean, you believe him
So
as
it's
a
Tim Robbins?
suburban neighbor.
What?
Neighbor.
Tim Robbins.
I'm sure
That's who you picked.
Yeah.
Got it. I picked this, or I thought of this before I saw casting What If in
Solid.
IMDb. I did Dylan Walsh. He does kind of a similar movie a couple years later in The Stepfather. It's a sort of suspense thriller.
I vaguely remember that.
He's
Okay, I
Let's
remember
see.
him. He played some teen movie kind of. Yeah, I remember him. He's been on TV or maybe some MTV shit.
Can
too.
I crowdsource my 6 that were in my head with you guys, or will
Nip
that be
tuck.
annoying? Oh, okay.
If
nip
you go
tuck,
quick,
okay.
there we go.
Okay, so I think I ultimately went with I wanted to stay in the realm of were they in the Green Mile. So I went Barry Pepper.
I was
thought of
gonna
Barry
say.
Pepper.
I thought of Barry Pepper.
It's obscure enough. He could be weird. I think he's been played weird.
I like Barry Pepper.
I do too. I just also he's in a scary movie Crawl about him being in a crawl space with a crocodile. It's like a deep blue sea animal kind of thing, and he plays a stern kind of failed stepfather or father kind of vibe. So
I could have done that.
I don't even want you to list more because that.
Okay, I'll tell you my list to you off camera, but it was ultimately Gary Pepper. Barry
Pepper's his brother and a
Gary
solid
Schiff.
guy.
Barry Pepper. And if you like him, go back and listen to our episode on 61 plays Roger Maris.
How about that? We have 2 left, I believe. I believe we're to Ashley and Kale. Who's your Ashley?
Ashley, Amber Heard.
Okay.
Ooh, that wasn't mine. If I was going,
That would get us 2 canceled leads, so that almost makes it 2 wrongs makes it right. I
actually-
think we're in the right now,
I
guys.
forgot about that.
It's fine. I straight up went The Girl Next Door, and I just did Alicia Cuthbert. I just watched
Got it.
from The Girl. I literally just
it
watched.
seems like she was gonna pop more.
Yeah, I thought
and then
so, too.
Just kind of didn't. I think
funny
she's
enough-
done TV work.
Funny enough, I watched that movie last week though, which is kind of why it was on my mind.
I liked that movie, and again, it's got the one guy
From
Just
Just
Friends.
Friends, and he drops a lot of f bombs in that. Turns out, I think he's
Hard
bringing
F-bomb?
but it was.
But I
2002,
I thought he was
304.
funny outside of those, and I definitely don't remember him using so many.
I feel like I know who you're gonna pick.
Who do you got?
No, you don't. Is it Mila Kunis?
No.
Oh, because that's who I'm.
Oh,
Okay.
I like that.
I actually kind of think that
could
she'd
work
be
for me.
great as the Shia LaBeouf character.
Oh, yeah, that could
Like
actually work
better,
for me too.
actually.
Oh, I kind of like that. I wish you would have held that.
Okay, take it out.
No,
then.
we're leaving.
Well, then my chalk for the girl was I actually always thought this was Blake Lively. I remembered it as her. When I read it, I'm like, that's not Blake Lively.
that could work for
That's
me.
a
Yeah.
good recast.
I thought it was, so that's why I recast with her.
We're on to Kale. These 2 are kind of similar. I did Miles Teller.
I did Miles Teller too.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's a
No.
good.
That's actually good.
There's such an easy, interchangeable actor.
'cause
I think.
Miles Teller just kind of went on up until Whiplash, doing these kind of movies. 21, just kind of teen comedies or
Yeah,
suspense.
there is a
stuff.
lot of similarities between. They're not like traditionally handsome.
Didn't he do a war movie?
He did a firefighting movie for sure.
He's disappeared for a while, but I can't remember exactly what. But it's because he's.
I heard he's difficult to work with.
Well, I've heard he's a big asshole, and
That's
I don't think
probably-
he's canceled, but I think he's.
No, I don't think he's canceled.
Dick. I think he's just a
an asshole.
dick.
I've heard in some interviews, and I thought he was like really funny and personable.
I think behind the scenes, he's not fun to work with, from what everyone says.
I last saw
have that. It's
him
unverified.
vacation with Aaron Rodgers and them in Hawaii because he's friends with.
Oh yeah.
That's
I saw
the
that
last,
too. That was
that's
kind
the
of
last
odd.
role
Oh,
I
it's
saw.
Top
Odd
Gun.
group.
Never mind. He's about to come out in the new
Oh,
Top.
yeah.
I was about to say I knew he disappeared for a while,
But
but
they also shot that movie probably like 4 years ago now.
well, that's what I'm saying. He disappeared for a while, but I think it's because he's been working kind of on some big
movies
movies.
that they didn't release?
Then COVID. I think everything just kind of got pushed for him.
Dang,
but-
that's better than mine. I do like my Mila Kunis as the lead role. I think
kinda
this
like- I
is
like that
actually
too.
really good.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Who'd you pick?
Donald Glover.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like that.
The only problem I had with him is I've only seen him as young as he was in Community, but I think you could just take that and it'd be fine.
I mean, we saw him when he was still doing the college. humor
Actually, I
balloon
like
shop
that a
stuff,
lot.
but-
That's not a bad pick at all.
Yeah, I
He's-
like
it's-
that.
it's a-
I kind
it's
of like
di-
Mel Kunis better, honestly, though.
I think Mila Kunis is the best one I came up with.
Let us know if you have any other recasting that you think would work in there. Let us know if you like what we had. But we're going to move on to Mount Rushmore, top four.
Top four.
Mount Rushmore, top 4.
Okay, Mount Rushmore. This week for our top four, we're doing top four of weird neighbors that I think could be murderous. Not necessarily killer neighbors, could be speculation.
Just worst neighbors.
yeah, worst neighbors.
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay, let's go around the horn here.
Okay, I'm going to start it off. I'm going to go Sid from Toy Story.
Okay.
Not a murderer yet, but
Such a
definitely
good
there's
pick.
some red flags. We're starting with toys. The moment we see skin cats,
We're cultivating a murderer here.
yeah,
aren't we?
I think we're on the way.
Okay.
Now, do we think he's bad just from Woody's point of view? I don't think so. I think he's.
I mean, he murders. I mean, he's definitely going to move on to animals than people.
And then on the flip side, Andy from Toy Story, because I think there's a lot of red flags with that kid.
Nerd.
You gotta
What
let
a nerd.
those. Like, we get it. Your dad's not there. What? Actually, Andy's
He lives on the other side of
terrifying.
town. We just don't know that because the dolls don't talk about
They
it.
had
No,
a fly
they
fishing
literally are
trip,
neighbors.
Andy and his dad.
What? No, I was talking about the dad with Andy.
Oh yeah, he just lives in there, man. Andy's got more red flags. Like, you're really attached to your toys. Anyway, so the whole Toy Story.
Nice number one. Mark, what do you got?
I'm gonna go Phil Hartman from Jingle All the Way.
Oh, I like that one. That's so good.
Oh, Liz, these cookies.
Oh my. That's such a good one. Thing murderer?
Nah, not murderer. Just a bad neighbor.
bad neighbor.
Just a dick neighbor.
I'm taking mine back to an actual murderer. We actually did him in a podcast. Go back and see our episode of Roadhouse. But it's Bradley Wesley living across the lake. Fuck you!
Hey, Bradley.
He's literally killing people around town and burning down businesses. Or at least his henchmen are.
And it's all for just it's for a mall. It's for like a J.C. Penney's.
It's for small town real estate.
Yeah,
it's for
it's
small
true.
town business.
Again, we touched it in that. Go back, listen to our episode on Roadhouse. I apologize, it was an early one, but I know this much: snapping a neck may not kill you right away,
Tearing a throat,
but
sure
tearing
will.
a throat out will.
Sure does. Wesley, fuck you. So obviously there are just your actual creepy neighbors, like the Burbs. We would get for our number
Klopeks.
4 to fill in the
Burbs is
Klopeks.
on there for sure.
Fright Night, the
Fright-
vampire. I don't know his name, but the vampire.
Yeah, that's obviously on there. That was on all these lists. Clearly, this movie
Disturbia was on there. Obviously, Rear Window was
Yeah,
number one on every.
actual
source.
Rear Window.
Source material, obviously. That makes
material.
sense. I'm going to throw out one actually
OC.
that there's also a lot of tricky ones that are kind of Rear Window, but it turns out not to be. Stir of Echoes. I did mention that Kevin Bacon one. That's more of a ghost story.
See, that'd
that
be
it
good though,
that
except there's no neighbor aspect to the movie.
the neighbors are the killers at the end, but we don't find out till the very end.
But we don't like interact.
That's a
with them.
reveal, but it wasn't a suspicion is the problem. But actually, here's one from around that time. What Lies Beneath? It was like a Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford scary movie. The whole time she's kind of suspecting her neighbors did something.
Does that have a weird aspect where we think she's the dead wife of him before or something?
I think she's starting to suspect something. Yeah, that's that part from Scary Movie where it's
Okay.
like it changes people while she's on top of them.
That was in the wheelhouse of things that at my age group, I'm like, too scary for me. I'm not even going to watch it.
It was good, but it's actually a pretty good movie. It was Harrison Ford kind of getting older, trying some
really?
scary movies.
Get off my
that's a-
lawn.
He's just a
Oh,
bad.
sorry. The Adeline is what I meant to say.
This wouldn't be like "Stop haunting my wife" kind of more vibe, but
Get off my plane. I just feel like the Griswolds would be a bad neighbors that cut your power
they
off.
almost do kill them, like really with the
Multiple
ice.
times.
There's like electrical things. That's pretty dangerous. Yeah, that makes sense.
On the flip side, though, the like Elaine and whatever their names are, they're the Griswold's neighbors, not the worst, but the worst.
Yeah,
They're all. It's just a bad block.
different kind of worse.
Yeah, just the worst.
Dennis the Menace, little bastard.
Yeah.
It's almost the opposite. That they have to be worried that old man's going to kill that child. We have an opposite problem going on here.
I mean, or he'll die of a heart attack or something. You know what's crazy? Haven't rewatched in years. Haven't rewatched the remake in years. I bet his neighbor that we think is in his 90s is probably like 50.
Yeah, he's like not that bad. Also, though, just people aged differently back then. They looked so much older.
Mm-hmm. I'm moving into the TV realm because I think this guy is a murderer. Maybe Home Improvement, Wilson. What's going on? I actually want to put that as my number one. Yes. I don't trust him at all.
That's pretty weird. Mr. Feeney in Boy Meets World. It's a very similar vibe. Next door, he really inserts. You see his face a lot. Though.
Great neighbor.
He's got a lot of red flags for me.
He has inserted himself into the Matthews boys' life quite up until college.
Mr. Matthews.
Yeah,
up until his marriage, until his wedding. Mr. Matthews.
There's a thing you do, Mr. Matthews, is you.
I think that guy's still alive, right?
Yeah, I think he's on the Film Actors Guild, like on the board. Actually, I think he's.
He should be.
Cool.
I don't know that. I might have just made that up because of his voice.
Sounds not even.
Look into it.
I'm gonna throw out another
This I
one
do
for
know.
you.
A couple of years ago in his 90s, he thwarted a home invasion and he fought him off. That was him.
Yeah, that's how we know he's still alive.
Yep. So let us know if you have any other movies that you thought could have fit on our Mount Rushmore of creepy neighbors. Thanks for listening to our take on Disturbia. As always, if you like what you heard, make sure you like.
Disturbia!
Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We can take in any movie requests at cultclassicspodcast@gmail.com. And also you make sure to follow all the fun on social media at Cult Classics Pod. As always, this is just a grassroots podcast. The only way we can grow is through recommendations. So if you like what you heard, make sure you recommend. And we'll check you next time.